Well, greetings and welcome to another episode of Lightbulb Moments. This is the first episode of 2026, so I hope all of you are off to a good start in this new year and that you had a happy and joyous holiday season. Thanks for spending your precious ATM with us, your attention time, no money required. And whether you're watching us on YouTube, listening to us on the podcast, or joining us live, we're glad you're with us today. I do want to give a shout out to Lightheart Sanders, who has been a great sponsor of this forum, and also a shout out to all of you that show up to listen to what we have to say, participate in the conversation, whether it's solo or with guests. I'm going to take this particular episode solo and use it as a kickoff for the new year. I'll probably be shorter than many of our other episodes, but I want to focus on a few different things. One has to do with word for the year. Number two has to do with a profit challenge. And number three has to do with a growth challenge. So we can boil that down to focus and challenges. So let's jump in. So as far as word for the year and setting off an intention, I wonder what yours is. And I'd be super curious for some of you to maybe take advantage of the chat. And is there a word that serves as a theme for you this year in your business? A theme, a calling, a charge, an intention. I'd be curious to have people share what their word might be. If you've had one, it's always very healthy to have that because it does allow for you to crystallize your efforts around that intention. So for us, for Robert, I just saw that, is the word refinement. Love that, Robert. Inez, good morning and thank you. Lean and mean, but loving. That's a good one too. And so let's see if any more come up today, but it's really great for people to really just start the year with intention. I'll tell you where we landed at Qnity. We landed with the term focus. And I want to explain that a little bit and why that's meaningful and why that's relevant for us in the Qnity ecosystem. Over the last several years, Qnity has widened its reach, which is a wonderful thing. Several years ago, we didn't have any school customers. We weren't in the school industry at all, and we didn't have a financial literacy program for students. Fast forward to today, and now we've taken about 70,000 students through our Money EDU program, and we're working with about 200 campuses, now spreading out to other industries, and we're thrilled with that. But a lot of ATM, attention, time, and money to bring that to fruition. Secondly, another thing that has really happened in recent years is we've leaned very heavily into data. We've always done data type projects, but we took it to another level over the last few years, doing 3 very large scale, highly publicized, relevant compensation studies to be followed by a P&L study that we performed over the last year. We also have updated all of our curriculums. We have continued to lean in on the fill. And in short, we've gone wide, and which is a wonderful thing because we're able to serve in so many different areas and have different outlets to connect with you all. But there's a cost to going wide, and the cost to going wide is a potential risk of lack of focus. And so what our focus is on this year is not necessarily anything new, but just going deeper and better in the areas that we're already in right now. And, focus and simplicity kind of go hand in hand with each other. When we talk about simplicity, which is one of our core success principles, we have a simple formula for simplicity, and there's really only one way to simplify, and that's to eliminate. You eliminate your way to simplicity. It is the key. It's the single word. It's a single action step that brings simplicity. And it's it's a close cousin to focus. Focus also comes with, or with focusing also comes with elimination. We don't have any scheduled major eliminations for this particular year, but we certainly want to get to Inez's point. I think Inez's theme was lean and mean. That resonates with me, and it resonates with me. Lean and mean, I don't know if I'd pick those exact words, even though I love that combination of words and see the relevance. I think it would be more about just really doing what we do and doing it really well. So not more, but better. So that's really our theme for the year. And I'm going to call out a couple here. We have Bridget, also had refinement, cleaning up and perfecting what we have. So it seems a little bit of another cousin to focus also is refinement. So I love that. I love the dialogue. So I'm going to move on to the next part of what I want to go through today, which are challenges. And I broke them down into two, but the broad category of challenge is something that's always been part of the Qnity DNA. And, we distinguish between a contest and a challenge. In a contest, usually you have a very small number, finite number of winners. And oftentimes it's the same ones that emerge as the winners, whether it's a sales contest or top performer or whatever it might be, or a retail contest, whatever. It has a purpose to it. It can create some excitement, but it also has a limitation because it has a limited number of those that can be victorious. A challenge is different. A challenge you can, and ideally would have multiple winners. And it's always been part of what we teach in our growth curriculum. And so I've always been a big fan of challenges because you can, again, have unlimited number of winners. And it creates excitement, it creates community and all that. And it's less about competition and more about collaboration. So as we get into this year, we've made a couple decisions in terms of where we're going to focus our efforts to support our community. Our community consisting of those that we actively work with as clients. Our community also consisting of what we refer to as members, which are not necessarily we are working on a regular monthly basis, but they're very active in our community. They take advantage of our resources, participate in our data, et cetera. And so the first challenge I want to get to is a +1 profit challenge, which is what we are working on in the first quarter. We have not done this before. And so we're starting out with a cohort group of companies. These tend to be larger volume salon companies that we're actively working with. And we are going through it in the first quarter through a 6-session commitment where participating companies challenge themselves to find a minimum of an extra percentage point in profitability. So profitability today is 5%. How do we find another 1% to get you to 6%? Now, let me back up a little bit. So we spent an enormous amount of time and analysis and data collection in our 2024 profit study, which we released last summer. We are soon going to be releasing this year's version of the study, and we'll see what trends there are. And it had a big impact on all of us. It was really the first fresh look at profitability based upon actual data with neutral, objective sources, including third-party analysts, CPA firms, et cetera. And in several of the conversations we had with companies that participate in the study, they're like, well, not happy with my profitability. By the way, no one's happy with their profitability. Very, very few people are happy with their profitability. And profitability has been suffering. The trend has been a decline in profitability over the years, amongst recent years, and then going back from even 10 years ago, we've noticed a decline in profitability. And in having one-on-ones and taking companies through their scorecard to participate in the study, we frequently would say, what if you just found like 1 point? I know you want to get another 5 points. Know you want to go from 5 to 10% profitability, but that's a big jump. So this is following one of our core success principles, which is small steps. And so what we've created, and we're pretty much just piloting this program, and a mechanism where a group of companies will be working together with our leadership. I'm serving as the facilitator. I also have Rebecca Ezolt and Candace Gliata from our team joining us. And over a 6-session period, we're going to do a few things. We are going to make available our Money SBO course, which is all about the practices that lead to high performance, high profitability specifically. This is a legacy program that was created many, many years ago and then has been updated several times. And that will be part of the conversation as financial management systems. And then the other part of the conversation is unpacking the data from the P&L study, going through segment by segment. It was really 5 drivers that really come out of the P&L study. And each session, we're going to unpack one of those. So it's going to be a combination of education, data, and community. And the goal is that each company, with their own efforts, based upon our education, our data, and our community, that they would take the necessary action to find at least 1 percentage point. I did a little bit of math. We do have several $10 million plus companies in this. And if each company found 1 percentage point, this particular cohort group, that would be worth $1.8 million, which is a meaningful increase in profitability for a collective group. So stay tuned on that. Some of you may be involved in this. Criteria was a minimum of $5 million in multi-location and have to really be active in our work together. Again, we would love to include everybody, but we want to start with a relatively small, about 20 company cohort group. If this is an area of interest for you going forward, certainly send us a nudge, because I'm super optimistic that with this combination of education, data, and community, that companies can make an impact in their profitability with small steps. The second challenge is something that we've done in the past and been dying to do again, and it's going to happen in the second quarter. This does not have the same number of limitations in terms of, need to qualify to be in the group, small, whatever. This is going to be a larger group, a larger initiative, more open, and it will be a 17%, a national 17% challenge. Now, the last time we did a national 17% challenge was many years ago. And I'll unpack the results in a moment, but let's back up for a little bit. So for those of you that are familiar with our bodies of work, we do teach the importance of challenges with your team to create higher revenue, specifically higher client count and higher average ticket. And why 17%? I've spoken on this subject probably 200 times, and I'll summarize it for you in a nutshell. 17% is a unique number because what we found is it's a number that's both significant and achievable for most members of your team to accomplish. In many cases, this is simply going from 20 to 22 clients a week, or increasing your average ticket by perhaps $5 or $7.50. So it fits the criteria of a really great challenge, and it has stood the test of time. So a 17% challenge, there are more specifics around this. It's over a 13-week. You can also look at it as over a 90-day period, where you start out with for each member of the team that participates in the challenge, you identify what's known as a baseline. A baseline is what a normal week looks like for that individual practitioner, whether it's a stylist, massage therapist, esthetician, nail tech, whatever. So you find out what their normal week looks like in terms of total sales. Maybe it's 1,500 a week, of which 200 is retail and 1,300 is service. And then what you do is you identify a target for that individual to increase their sales by 17% above their current baseline. Now, why 13 weeks? 13 weeks is enough time for a new normal to settle in. And so, unlike a lot of contests where there's this surge of activity to reach a goal, and then everything goes back to the old normal, because this 17% challenge happens over a 90-day period, it's enough time for that to become a new normal. So it becomes a more permanent change, as opposed to a just blip that is due to just excitement because of a contest or some other challenge that isn't as thought through. So we are going to be doing this. You're going to start to hear some communication about this, and probably it'll be later this month, and there'll be a sign-up process. And what we want to do is get as many companies and individuals involved in this as possible. Growth is a challenge, just like profitability, sales growth. And what we're finding is that pretty typical, many companies last year were flat or low single digit, and in many cases a decline in terms of revenue. And this is a team-driven approach that allows members of your team to go deeper in their business, which collectively will help influence the overall sales of a company. Now, the last time we did a national challenge like this, we had 50 different companies, exactly 50 companies, over a 13-week period commit to this and stay with it. And essentially their big obligation was to do weekly tracking so that we knew where they stood each week. And then we could shout out back to the company how the company's doing, how members of their team are doing. We had 50 salon companies and 564 people. Over half of them achieved at least 17% of growth. The 69% had double-digit growth, and 346 people achieved double-digit retail growth. The average client count before, so baseline, was 21 clients per week. After was a full 3 more clients a week. So that's 24 clients a week. And then average ticket went up, it looked like about $4.21. So for each practitioner that was involved in this, it was another $17,316 per person. Collectively, what this meant for this group was an annualized $9.7 million of sales. Hopefully you and your company will participate in the 17% challenge, and watch for communication on that to start in the second quarter. So going into this year, again, a lot of challenges with growth, a lot of challenges with profitability. We could sit here and do everything we've done in the past, or we can try some things that are new, that are based upon community, collaboration, data, and education. And so as we look ahead in the new year, and look ahead over the next 6 months, breaking our year into quarters, which is always a healthy thing. Having a profit focus in the first quarter that's based upon a prudent use of the data to make decisions and the best financial management practices, and then followed by a growth challenge in the second quarter. We're optimistic that this could be a really great year for many salons, spas, and med spas. So that's what I have for you all today. And I wish all of you the very best. Other things to keep on the calendar. Just a reminder that our 5th annual Phil conference will be in Austin, Texas again. And it will be May 19th through 21st. I think I have those days right. If you have not heard, the Phil will be co-locating with the Data-Driven Conference. We will be at the same spot. There'll be 2 separate events back to back. And we'd love to have as many of you as you plan ahead. Make sure that you prioritize that to be part of the Phil. And then also, watch for other Lightbulb Moments episodes coming up. I've got some really great guests. We're going to mix the format up a little bit. So anyway, I'm wishing all of you a very happy and prosperous year of maybe it's refinement. Maybe it is being lean and mean. Whatever it is for you, let's make this a rockin', prosperous year. Right on to all of you. And again, thanks for tuning in. All the best. Hope to see you soon.